Good morning. We just got dropped off at our F6 camp. We're here to do a couple of other experiments today. It was meant to be a day trip. This is back in the Taylor Valley. If you look over that way there, that is a Commonwealth Glacier. And then one of my first experiments a few weeks ago was in Many Glaciers Pond, and it was right over in that area. So this is a valley we're familiar with. About a 40-minute flight from McMurdo, but it was kind of fun this morning as they were giving us our briefing there at the helicopter. They said, we'll probably be able to get you in, probably won't be able to get you out today. So we wanted to be sure they drop off survival bags for us, and shouldn't be too big of a deal if we get to spend an extra day or two out here. There's as you kind of look around, it's kind of a pretty place to be. Lake Frixel is just down there below us. We were camped on the other side of Lake Frixel. That's a Lake Frixel camp. On the other side of that hill over there, that's a Canada Glacier, and up valley is where Lake Bonnie was, where we spent another about 6 or 7 days earlier. But we're about ready to get started with our experiment, and we'll get our day done and see if we get a ride home today or tomorrow or sometime. So we are here at the F6 camp, and we are doing our stoichiometry treating of the soil. So we put on the different chemicals, like different fertilizers. And Natasha's got one here. What is this, nitrogen that we're doing? Yeah. So she'll show you how we apply this into these different plots. We've got a map here that we follow.
Yep, so we have this giant grid full of our different experiment plots. So there's one that we just treated. It's a little wet still. There's another one we just treated. So we have this big grid marked out by stakes, and then we're pouring different types of nutrients on the different little plots within these markings. And we're seeing how the soil biota are reacting and how the soil chemistry is changing. And it's a pretty awesome experiment. And it involves the really high-tech technique of just pouring some water into a chamber.
Okay, show us your technique.
All right. So you just try to pour really gentle all of inside this chamber. Get lots of nutrients. And it doesn't look like anything's happening, but a week from now, some of these treatments will have higher CO2 coming out of them, which means that all of the bacteria in there are having a lot of fun with all of the nutrients that we're giving them. They're like, party!
And how many years has the team done this experiment now?
I'm not sure the exact number of years, but I think it's about 10 or maybe a little more.
That's great.
So it's a long time.
So there it is, stoichiometry at F6.
Stoic F6.
Beautiful. So here is Topper and Natasha, and they are sampling soil here at F6 site. We've had these ibex chambers around them, which are used to increase the temperature. Adds a little bit of solar heat in there. So they're reaching in and sampling. You see Tasha is sampling the plot that has the chamber. Topper sampling the one right there next to it, the control that doesn't have that chamber. So we'll collect these samples and take those back to the lab tomorrow. We got weathered out. We won't be going back tonight. We are here inside of the hut at F6. You can see, not quite cozy, warm place yet. We're going to see what we can do. But better than being outside, though, that's for sure. It is now Thursday morning, and we're still at F6. That's the camp site where we did a science we showed you yesterday. Helicopter wasn't able to come in and get us yesterday after our work, so we stayed the night here. Skies are looking better, a little windy, but the helicopter should be okay with that. It's much colder today. In fact, I these are some of the solutions that we used on our experiments, and they're different types of nutrients, and you can see they all grow solid down in there. In there, just a solid block. We tied all of our other empties to those. It had the solutions in it so they wouldn't fly away. But a little chilly. The plan is today that we're going to get picked up at about 10:30. It's about 2 hours. Helicopter will try to come back out. It's got to go. That's where they'll be coming from, so we're hoping that'll break up just a little bit, and they'll be able to get up to us. But we're gonna go over a couple of other valleys from here into the Mears Valley and do some more sampling today. So it'd be nice if this wind dies down. It is pretty chilly today. But that's the plans. Should be on a helicopter here in a couple of hours, headed towards our next site. And then if all goes as planned, I believe we will be back to town and a hot shower and warm meal tonight. So the adventure here in Antarctica continues. Good morning. We're now going on our third day of our trip here at F6 camp. We started here 3 days ago to do a half a day of collecting. One of our sites is right over there. If you look close, you can see some stakes, some markers where we collected. But yeah, we were meant to be here about half a day. But it got a little cloudy. Helicopters couldn't come in, but we got into the hut. This is the F6 hut right there, and so we've got a place to get out of the weather. We've got a little bit of, well, there's a lot of food, but it's not quite the same as eating in the galley. And we're running a little bit low on water, but we're right here next to Lake Frixel, so I'm gathering us up a little bit of water so we could have some for another day. Very light, fluffy snow. This is definitely the driest powder I've ever seen. You know, it can get on you, but it just comes right off. But I found a spot I think is lake ice. Kind of cracking just a little bit here, but got out here to this rock. Or to this, rock I'm standing on. I'm gonna hammer into the lake and get us some drinking water for the day. So I will keep on working on getting us some water. We'll show you around inside the hut what we've got in there, but it looks like this half a day trip is going to go into 4 days anyways. If you look around, we're super fogged in here. Currently snowing. Not much wind, so the temperatures doesn't feel that bad. I'd say it's maybe 20 degrees, something like that, so not ridiculous, but it's really not too bad without the wind blowing. So we'll continue and keep you up on our little adventure out here at the F6 camp. So we just got word that a helicopter will be on its way. Will be picked up in about an hour. They can get through. The weather looks pretty good. We've got good visibility. Still kind of a beautiful white wonderland around here. But I thought I would take you in. Don't get giving a tour of the home.
This is an important part.
This is the stress reliever. Boom! Look at that shot.
Oh, that wasn't very good.
Yeah.
That wasn't very good.
So we throw sharp objects at things when we find out we're going to be another day. Boom!
It'd be great if I got a bullseye right now, wouldn't it?
Right there on film. And there's my bed on the shelf. And here's everybody else's bed
Tasha
around
slept
here.
here.
Oh yeah, there's her cubby. Yep.
Hopper was here. Then I was in
You
that
slept
corner.
under the waterfall.
I did sleep under the waterfall.
Yeah, we're catching water right here. And we have some corn chowder going here. So we'll have our soup before we leave. Our soup simmering in there. So we'll have that before we leave. But we're getting ready to go. Got to show you our little lab room in there, our telephone room.
Tasha's talking to Trixel right now. Exciting. Yeah, hopefully see
There's
you
our
soon.
lab.
Okay, awesome. Bye. We're leaving! We're getting out! F6 camp,
So,
you've been good to us.
There it is.
F6 has been good to us. Yeah.
It's been home 3 days.
3 days.
So, computer work, journals, lab work, here we come.
Zoom in on the lost worm herders.
Oh yeah. There you go. Boom. The last refuge fading out into the sunset. Our ride is coming. We been here 3 days. There's the survivors from the camp. Yeah.
Hey.
And there's our ride coming up over the hill there. We were allowed to take most of our cargo, but we'll get loaded in. This day trip is supposed to be about 5-6 hours, ended up being about 3 days. So we've got a little catch up to do. But anyways, here comes our ride, and we'll talk to you in a while.